Okay. Well, it is 6 o'clock. Would like to welcome everyone to our meeting and ask that you stand and join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
Republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Durante,
Here,
Folks, Rappaport,
Present. Sorry, before you move on, David Rappaport attending the meeting via Zoom from Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Durante, can you tell me too where you're attending the meeting from, please?
Sandra, joining from Zoom in Westland, Michigan.
Richards,
Present, joining remotely from Wayne County, Westland, Michigan.
Sharp,
Kenneth Sharp, attending from my home on the Zoom webinar meeting from Westland, Michigan, Wayne County.
Spizak,
Andy Spizak, attending from my home, Westland, Michigan, Wayne County.
Stachow,
Deanna Stachow, attending Zoom webinar meeting from my home, city of Westland, Michigan, and Wayne County.
Hornbuckle,
Delano Hornbuckle here attending from Zoom from my home here in Westland, Michigan, Wayne County.
all right, we have a quorum.
Thank you, everyone. Approval of minutes.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second,
We have motion by Commissioner Spizak, supported by Commissioner Richards. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to approve the April 6th minutes. Durante,
Yes,
Rappaport,
Yes.
Richards,
yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Spizak,
Yes.
Stachow,
Yes,
and Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Minutes approved.
Thank you. At this time of our meeting, for any of our listening audience, if there's something not on our agenda you'd like to speak on, this would be the time to do it.
Please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or if you're calling in, please choose option 6, star 6.
All right, I see no one in. We will move into our first case, which is case 2163B, site plan approval for proposed commercial center 34601 Ford Road. Mr. Ayub.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right. The subject property here is located on the south side of Ford Road, between Wayne and Wildwood. And this property is vacant and approximately 17,000 square feet in area. It is zone CB1, low intensity commercial business. And as I mentioned, is currently undeveloped. The petitioner today is proposing to build a 4,272 square foot 4-tenant commercial retail building on the vacant property. The proposed one-story building will be constructed with a brick material. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. The site plan indicates 26 parking spaces accessed by one driveway at Ford Road right here. The zoning ordinance does require a minimum of 26 parking spaces, so this proposal is compliant with parking. The petitioner is also proposing to construct a 6-foot tall masonry wall. You can kind of see it. Well, you can't see it, but it's in this area over here to comply with the screening requirement from R6 residential zoning. The petitioner proposes to also install the required DDA streetscape fence with pillars in this area over here, abutting the sidewalk. The site plan does not provide a 20-foot landscape buffer strip in the front yard between the front property line going back south 20 feet. There's no room to provide this and the parking area and drive aisles. And therefore, the petitioner is requesting a variance for this. The site plan does propose a dumpster enclosure in this area that is utilizing same or similar type materials and colors as the building. And the site plan finally does include a site lighting plan in your backup, which proposes lighting in compliance with the lighting ordinance. This is what the building will look like. It's a 3D rendering of the side and the front elevation. The administration and planning department are recommending approval, subject to the variance being granted by the zoning board of appeals.
Is the petitioner in attendance?
Yes, sir. Has his hand raised.
Yes. Is there anything you would like to add?
Good evening, panel. This is Madi Abdullah speaking. I am the petitioner. I do want to thank you for your time in considering the request today. I have no additional things to add other than just to give some more background on the property. It's 160 feet long and 110 feet deep. This is a vacant land that has been vacant for over 10 years now. And we're looking to add like Mr. Ayub said, a 4-unit commercial building there, a strip mall that we would be leasing out. Each unit will be approximately 1,000 square feet, just a little bit over. This will, as was shown in the 3D rendering, this would be a newly modernly designed development. Will help get rid of the vacant land eyesore in that area. It'll hopefully help enhance the area and the city tax base and bring new businesses and jobs to the city as well. So we're looking forward to doing business in the city of Westland and appreciate any approval that the commission can give us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll open it up to the commission. Any comments from the commission? Motion? Commissioner Stackhouse.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. If it pleases the chair, at this time, I would like to make a motion to have case 2163B, site plan for approval for proposed commercial center. And this to go to the city council for a recommendation of approval.
Support.
You should add the granted by the zoning board of appeals for the.
Oh, okay. Yes. Would you like for me to restate the motion?
No, I believe you could just add the variances required, granted by the zoning board of appeals. It's going to be approved by them.
Okay. Then in addition, adding that the granting of variances the variances being granted by the zoning board of appeal.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Stackhouse, supported by Commissioner Spezak. Roll call.
Roll call vote to approve case number 2163B. Durante.
Yes.
Foltz.
Yes.
Rappaport.
You muted Rappaport.
I apologize. That's a yes.
Richards.
Yes.
Sharp.
Yes.
Spezak.
Yes.
Stachow.
Yes.
And Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, sir, and we definitely welcome you to our city. And good luck with everything getting in order before you go to city council. But we welcome you.
Thank you.
Very good. And Commissioner Foltz, we welcome you to our meeting also. We will move into our next case, which is case 2248, which is a site plan and special land use approval for the proposed Burger King at 38411 Ford Road. Mr. Ayu.
Go to your room. Go down. Go to your room.
Thank you, Chairman. The subject property here is located at the southwest corner of Ford Road and Hicks, just between Hicks and Norma there. It comprises a little bit over 1 acre and is zoned CB3 General Commercial District. It is currently vacant. I don't believe that building is there still. If it is, the building is also vacant and subject to demolition upon approval of this. The petitioner successfully rezoned the property back in 2018 to CB3 to facilitate the development of a drive-through restaurant. Today, the petitioner is seeking site plan and special land use approval for the construction of a 3,200 square foot Burger King drive-through restaurant. The site is accessed once it's constructed by a right turn in and right turn out only driveway at Ford Road and a full service driveway here at North Hicks. Again, left turns will be restricted out of the Ford Road driveway here, utilizing this island with the geometric shape shifting people to turn right. The zoning ordinance requires a minimum of 32 off-street parking spaces for the site, and the site does contain 32 off-street parking spaces in compliance with that requirement. There are 3 back here, which I missed the first time I looked at this, and I know some of you did as well. So I just wanted to point those out. The zoning ordinance requires a minimum of 8 stacking spaces for the site. The site contains at least 12 stacking spaces, so that's in compliant with stacking space requirement. There is a double aisles as well here to alleviate any concerns with stacking and to speed up the ordering and pickup process. The proposed development is expected to capture mostly pass-by customers, aka drivers or consumers that are driving down Ford Road already. And that just essentially means during the traffic study, it was mentioned in there, so there's no expected negative impacts on traffic that will be occurring based off this development, in the sense that this development is creating additional traffic on Ford Road or at this area to come to this restaurant. It's more so picking up traffic that's already existing. The site contains significant landscaping and buffering areas throughout the site. The landscaping plan was included in your backup. There's a 43-foot wide landscaping buffer containing about 41 trees and 32 shrubs between the residential owned properties to the south, and the building itself fits in this area over here. The landscaping buffer is proposed as an alternative to the 6-foot high masonry screening wall along the south side of the site to screen that residential. The city council has the authority to approve that alternative. The hours of operation are mentioned in your book as well. They vary on the weekdays and the weekends, at the latest closing at 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. I briefly touched on this. A traffic study was provided. No concerns were noted in the traffic study, and the development overall complies with requirements from the Michigan Department of Transportation. And finally, landscaping, screening, parking, access, all that stuff, setbacks are in compliant with the are compliant with the zoning ordinance. There is one thing that the development is not in compliant with, and that is the front yard parking setback. So parking spaces at the front yard are supposed to be shifted 25 feet from the property line. And this is where that 25-foot setback is supposed to begin. And obviously you can see some of these parking spaces are within that. So this does require a variance from the zoning board as well for that encroachment into the front yard setback. So we are asking the planning commission to recommend approval of this, subject to that variance being granted. This is what the elevation will look like. Again, they are using brick and masonry stone, no vinyl or panel material, with the exception of this red strip up here. Be happy to answer any questions. I know the developers are on the call as well.
Yeah, is the developer there? Would you like to add anything to this, sir? Or any comments? Mr. Williams? There you go.
Good
Yeah.
evening, everyone. Eric Williams with Stonefield Engineering Design. Address is 607 Shelby Street, Detroit, Michigan. So I know, and we do appreciate Mr. Ayoub's assistance on this. Doug Beachel, who is with Carol's Restaurant Group, who is the actual applicant in this case. We've been working on this site for, I think, 2 years now. And with the onset of COVID and everything going on, it did die for a little bit, and we are excited to be back in front of you. So we do appreciate Mo's assistance in getting this thing going in the right direction. And I think Mo hit all of the important pieces here. Access is, one of the big ones off of Ford Road. We have reviewed that with the MDOT team, and as he alluded to, we've been provided preliminary approval there. The one thing I would just add is any of the traffic volumes that were included in the report were all pre-COVID volumes. So as everybody's probably aware, there was a sharp decline in traffic volumes just from people staying home and not having a daily commute. So those numbers have been adjusted. Other than that, we're excited to redevelop a prominent entry into the city of Westland, and think this is going to be a great asset. Obviously opposite of McDonald's, and then we do have the Tim Hortons drive-through northeast across the intersection. So we think this is going to be a great addition to the city.
Thank you, sir, and commend you on your traffic information. It's very, very thorough. Thank you. We're going to, anyone in our audience wish to speak on this? Anyone in our audience? I hear none. We'll open it up to the commission. Commissioner Drani.
Yeah, I have a question. In there, it says restricted left turns out of the driveway, in and out. Is that really enforceable?
Yes.
Yes, MDOT will not grant our project a permit to construct any right-of-way improvements or tap any utilities without that restriction. And what that would look like is a physical concrete curb barrier that would force people to make right turns out. And then similarly, if people are traveling west along Ford Road, that curb line would also discourage people from turning left off of Ford Road into the property. And MDOT's main concern being that there is the left turn lane there, in most cases will be queued up with vehicles waiting to make that maneuver. So there is a safety concern there. If vehicles were also trying to enter our property, they'd be in direct conflict.
Well, the reason why I asked that is because we made that same requirement at several other restaurants that opened, and they're not being enforced.
Yeah, Commissioner Durante, the difference here, and I haven't seen this done at any of the other restaurants, and I'll pull this back up. The difference here is that they are actually installing an island here in the middle of the driveway that shifts people to not force them, but kind of restricts them or prohibits them from turning left through this geometry here. I don't know if you can see it. It's similar to the one located at the Walmart in Canton. There's that big island there to force people to turn right instead of, I mean, you can't police everyone trying to make turns and stuff and at the driveways. And honestly, some of that stuff, it's like you're doing it to kill yourself, basically. It's dangerous, it's hazardous. Obviously, we can't put a cop car out there to police it, but they are installing this traffic island to sort of enforce it or restrict it a little bit more so than just placing a sign out there. And that's
Okay.
really all they can do.
Okay, that answers my question.
But Commissioner Folks, you had your hand up. You're muted right now. There
I
you
just
go.
wanted to say to the petitioner that I'm very happy to see that site being developed. I go by there all the time and I always wonder if someone is finally going to do something with this property. It is an eyesore right now. Also, it's going to give McDonald's and Tim Hortons some competition, which I'm very happy to see. That's it.
Any other comments? Commissioner Spezak?
No, I have no comment.
Chairman, there is I believe it's a lady with her hand up from the public.
Okay, yes, Tammy, would you wish to speak? You're muted right now, Tammy. Tammy, if you can hear me, you are muted. There you
Hello.
go.
This is her husband, Sean,
Okay,
2166 North Norma. We are the adjacent property.
yes.
My question would be, is the buffer, we would rather like to have a wall. It seems like all the commercial property that abuts to the residential areas are getting walls. The Taco Bell got one. The new one that you just passed got one. And also, I'd be interested in how close is that dumpster to our property? Because it looks like the dumpster is going to be on our side.
Mr. Williams, would you like to speak on that?
Absolutely. So the dumpster itself will be right around 30 feet from that southern property line. And there is a challenge between screening it from the public right of way, but we also understand and you know, tried to pay close attention to the adjacent residences. So it will be enclosed in a 6-foot masonry screen wall and be set back 30 feet. In terms of the masonry wall that you're referring to, I know it was discussed with Mo, and what we felt on this particular property, because we were providing approximately a 30-foot setback from our actual drive-through and parking area, that it would be a far more aesthetically pleasing buffer to provide dense plantings as Mr. Ayub is showing here. So what you see on the south part of these plantings are all evergreen trees, a mix of arborvitaes and other dense evergreen trees that will be green throughout the year. And then above those are additional deciduous trees. So we're not completely opposed to placing a wall along that property line, but we felt that this would provide a much softer buffer and be far more attractive to the adjacent residences and obviously the community as a whole.
As far as like, I'm looking at this picture, are you also putting bushes or something behind your dumpster wall so we won't really see the wall of the dumpsters?
Yep, absolutely. So there will be, I believe it is 5 Eastern red cedars. So again, it's going to be an evergreen tree. And I think if you see there, they're right located just behind the dumpster. And then additionally, there'll be more plantings on the west side along Norma. And this was something that we discussed early on, was trying to keep Norma as much of a residential street in nature as possible. So you'll note that there is no access there that we're trying to obtain. We really wanted to make sure that there was minimal impact to the adjacent residences.
Yeah, because we're real concerned as far as like your parking lot lighting. I mean, is that been gone through with the city as far as like the looms?
We
Yes.
can
Yes, we have a lighting photometric plan. I can turn to it too.
And I think what we would say to that is the fixtures will be full cutoff fixtures, so they're facing directly down at the ground. They'll also have backlight shielding. And so Mo, if you don't have it on file, we'd be happy to, work with Sean, provide all of the modeling that's necessary to basically show him that there's going to be no light trespass onto the property. We don't intend to place any floodlights on site, and everything will be facing directly down to the ground.
Yeah, is this going to be lit like 24 hours for like security, or are your lights going to shut off when you close?
Doug, are you available? I would suspect that they will turn off during non-business hours. But if Mr. Beachel does have his hand raised, he may be able to speak to the operations of that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Come again, Sean.
Are you speaking to me?
Mr. Mitchell, what was your comment? Do you have comments on the lighting for?
I do.
Sean?
We typically can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so we typically will turn off certain lights in the parking lot when we're not open at, so we don't have them on 24 hours. Not all of them, because we want to obviously cut down on any kind of trespass or crime situations. But and even with LED lighting now, we could, we can dim some. There's a lot of maneuverability and options that we can do. The dark sky friendly lighting that's now being developed and being installed on these is there's much less light pollution or spillover with them. But if there was any particular issues with one, we can modify it after hours.
Okay, I guess my only thing is I would just like it noted that we would prefer a wall just for just added security, as far as there's just going to be more people around here than there is now.
Yeah, it's gonna be noisy.
I mean, I just see all the other businesses, they're putting up walls against the residential property. I just like it noted for the city.
Mr. Williams, would you object to a wall or a vinyl fence to put there to kind of secure his area? And vinyl fencing might be more reasonable than a wall.
Well, we already have a wood privacy fence that's been here for 20 years, but we don't have the traffic that place is going to have. I mean, Burger King's going to get a lot of traffic.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Would you object to putting a wall there for the gentleman and his family?
I think we can definitely investigate it. And the one thing I would say is just want Sean and Tammy for you guys to understand that wall would most likely be located within 5 to 10 feet of your home. And just so you're understanding that would be close. And obviously be directly where your current wood fence is today is generally where those would be placed. Or if we could look at something, and Mo, could you remind me what the required height of that wall is? Is that 5 feet, 6 feet?
6 feet tall maximum.
Okay.
You are able to do a wooden fence without a masonry wall. So that is something you can do without the landscaping. So either masonry wall, wooden wall. If you don't want to do either of those, you can ask the city council to do landscaping as an alternative, which you are doing today. But if the residents don't want landscaping, then you could just do the wall. That's good. That's going to be this is like one of the nicest landscape plans I've seen. But if the residents want a wall, then
I mean, I think it would be reasonable to continue the wooden fence that they have there today, as opposed to a new masonry wall, would be our preference. And if that fence isn't 6 feet today, we'd be happy to increase the height to make sure that it does hit that 6 foot mark.
Right, so you're gonna, what do you carry that fence to all the way to the easement on Norma Street? Is that what you're talking about doing?
Yeah, the only thing we'd have to be careful of is if there's any required sight lines. But I suspect that it would generally run property line to property line.
Okay. Is that what you want?
I want a brick wall. I want sound. We're gonna get sound.
It's up to them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the city can force them to put a brick wall up. We'd rather have the brick wall, but I guess it's up to the city. I can't force somebody to do something.
Mr. Williams, are you,
that's up to the planning commission. I mean,
Commissioner Drani, do you have a question?
Yes. I myself think that extending the wooden wall would be, and keeping the landscaping would be far beneficial than just putting up a brick wall and losing the landscaping. I think the landscaping is going to be beautiful there, what they propose.
Easy access.
And they say they will put that new wooden fence up for them. It's not going to decrease or increase the sound any more than the cement fence would be. I think they'd be much happier with landscaping and a wooden fence than they would with a brick wall and no landscaping.
so I guess my question to that is if they just went ahead and carried the fence through, I mean, do they tear the whole fence down to make it all match? I mean, are they gonna take our existing fence down to make it, the landscape look nice, or just attach?
I mean, with that being said, you guys do own the fence. We don't have a right to take it down necessarily. But we'd be happy to work with you and make sure there's consistency. It hits the 6 foot high mark. If there's any pieces that, I'm not sure of the exact condition of it today. But we'd be happy to work with you guys. And if it means taking the whole fence down and providing a new fence, I think we'd be willing to do that.
But that's fine, as long as like from the road, everything looks natural and uniform. I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to be difficult here. We live next to commercial property. We knew this was going to happen sooner or later.
No, and I think, Doug and his team want to be good neighbors, and we don't want to start out on the wrong foot, but at the same time, we want to be reasonable. So we'd be happy to work with you. And, if it's vinyl, if it's wood, we're happy to work with you on that.
Yeah, they're just wood fences. And I don't know what my neighbor behind me, if he's got any issues. I don't even know if he's watching or not, but he's also got a fence too.
So are Sean, you and Tammy agreeable with Mr. Williams on them putting a wooden fence there?
Mr. Chairman.
I want a brick wall. Just whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It don't matter. Whatever they want to do.
I know.
Okay, Mr. Williams, is there any way you could even meet with Sean and Tammy? I know that's a big asking to work this out before it goes to city council.
I think if they want to set up a time, maybe Mr. Ayub can help coordinate that with us, get them in contact, and we can figure out, the best way to try to make everybody happy. and what we can do is we can probably have Doug provide a few examples of previous projects, or I know our office has some as well, of, what could be done and really what the final product, again, I think the landscaping would be far less intrusive than the brick wall. But that's just my opinion. So I think we'd be happy to have a conversation with them.
Is there any possibility of the landscaping staying?
Mo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the landscaping has to be done alongside the wall, correct? Or is it one or the other?
It's one or the other. Some landscaping is still certainly required, but not as nearly as extensive as you've provided. So we were talking about this at length, and I guess we presented, not we, but the petitioner presented this specific plan because it kept in place the residence existing wall, and it provided a significant amount of landscape, which will help reduce noise and light pollution, consistent with what a masonry wall would do too, and it would look a lot nicer. But so it's either or. That's what the requirement is. So it's up to you. I would be happy to facilitate a meeting. Tammy, if you want to write down my phone number, 734.
Hang on.
Okay.
And if I may ask again, what was the depth of that landscaping if they do was it like 25 feet or something?
At the greatest depth, it was about 43 feet, and at the shortest, it was about 30.
So they'll be at least 30 feet off the lot line?
Yes. A masonry wall will be right up in your face.
Just do the landscape.
Is that better?
Yeah. Just go ahead and just do what you're gonna do. Throw the landscape up. That's fine.
Okay, do you want to take down my number still, just in
Yep.
case? Okay,
Yeah.
it's 734
Okay.
467
Uh-huh.
3219.
Okay. And
I
your
think
name-
there's
your name is
still
what?
some,
Sorry.
my name's Mo. I think there's still some opportunity to work specifically and only on the wooden fence. So if you want to call me on that, I can help facilitate that. But I truly do think that throwing away the landscaping for a masonry wall is not as aesthetically pleasing or as a nice entrance to your subdivision or home as a masonry wall would look like.
Yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead and do the landscape then. And another question for you is I got another letter for another meeting for the easement. Is that Ford Road easement where they're talking about the parking? Where they're trying to push the parking spots close to the Ford Road?
I have no knowledge about that, sir.
Okay.
John, I would maybe add to that. I believe we're on the zoning board of appeals agenda for the 19th of this month.
Yeah, for the Ford Road easement there.
So
Okay,
that
okay.
Along Ford Road.
That's the parking setback. I can show you really quickly what I'm talking about. Is that okay, Chairman?
Yes, and the Commissioner Spezak had a question also.
No, I don't have a question. I want to make a motion.
Oh, okay.
You want me to let me show them what this is going to be, because they're going to be at the meeting anyways. So Tammy, and I forget the husband's name, but Sean. So parking along Ford Road in this specific case is supposed to start where this line starts over here, which would require that everything gets shifted south, including the building, including the landscaping, including the dumpster, everything. So in order to avoid doing that, they have the parking starting up here, which encroaches into the setback that's required from Ford Road. So they are requiring a waiver, aka a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals to start the parking up here instead of back here. So I think it allows for maybe up to 10 feet, everything shifted north, which helps you out as well with the landscape buffer back here.
Yeah, that was my question. I just wanted to make sure that things weren't being pushed closer to us, but no, that's great.
Okay.
Saves me to go to another meeting then.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for, to both you gentlemen for talking together and moving forward with that. Commissioner Spezak,
Yes, I'm prepared to make a motion.
that'll be good, sir.
If anybody, nobody cares. And I would also like to say, I suppose I may be the only person that remembers that there was a Sunoco gas station where the parking lot is there, so just in case anybody didn't know that. Case number 2248, special land use approval and proposed for the proposed Burger King at 38 411 Ford Road, south side of Ford Road, between Hicks and Norma, be forwarded to the council. I recommend that this petition be forwarded with a recommendation for granting the site plan and special land use subject to the required variance being granted by the zoning board of appeals.
Support.
If I may offer an amendment,
Right.
I'd also like to make this subject to a good faith investigation into the feasibility of a constructed barrier between the residential uses.
Say what?
Or otherwise, as the department shall request or require. The reason for this amendment is because there is still another neighbor that hasn't spoken and may have similar concerns. And I would like it subject to at least a good faith investigation.
I don't,
So you want it subject to if the other neighbor comes forward? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Just some showing that that the petitioner put some effort into investigation of a feasibility of a constructed barrier that may have already occurred.
I don't go with that. Let the motion stand as proposed.
Is there a second to the amendment from Commissioner Rappaport? Is there a second? Is there a second to Commissioner Spezak's recommendation?
I second it.
All right, motion by Commissioner Spezak, second by Commissioner Durante to forward case 2248 to City Council for approval, dependent upon the Zoning Board of Appeals. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to recommend approval of case number 2248. Durante,
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Rappaport,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Spezak,
yes,
Statchow,
Yes.
Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Mr. Williams and Sean and Tammy, we appreciate you folks talking with each other and working this out, and we'll look forward to this becoming a new business in the city of Westland, with everybody being content with the outcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, we'll move into our next case, which is case 2121E, special land use approval for proposed wine tasting room, 6033 North Wayne Road. Mr. Ayub.
Thank you, Chairman. The subject property here is located on the west side of Wayne Road, just north of, just north of Stacy. The property comprises of a little under 2 acres with 480 feet of frontage along Wayne Road. The property is currently zoned CB3, general commercial business, and is developed with a 15,000 square foot commercial center. The petitioner proposes to locate a wine tasting room in a vacant tenant space within the existing building with a maximum capacity of up to 25 individuals. And the hours of operation are Monday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. The site is currently existing, as it's mentioned previously, as it's shown on your screen. There's one driveway at Wayne Road, and there are 87 off-street parking spaces. This does comply with zoning ordinance requirements for parking and site access. The site contains a 6-foot tall, high masonry wall along the west side of the site to screen the adjacent residential. And there's a service alley in the back with a dumpster. The site does contain screening along Wayne Road and Stacy, and as mentioned, the screening along the residential side, all of which are conforming with the zoning ordinance requirements. The proposed use is consistent with existing uses and the zoning in the general area along Wayne Road, and will not have a negative impact on the surrounding properties. The administration and planning department are recommending approval of this special land use to you. This is just a floor plan. The owner can talk about this a little bit more, but she is planning on setting up the floor plan based on individual events. That's all I got.
Thank you. Is the petitioner with us? Is petitioner present?
I believe so.
Is the
Yep, she
petitioner
is.
present for the wine tasting room? Yes. Ms. Howard Dawn, you are muted. If you'll unmute yourself. Ms. Howard, if you can hear me, if you will unmute yourself, you're muted, so we wouldn't be able to hear you. Ms. Howard? There you go. You're with us now. Anything you would like to add? No, you're back muted, Mrs. Howard. Or Miss, unmute yourself so that we can hear you, please. Are you there? Okay. What would, anything you would like to add? We're unable to hear you.
Mr. Chairman, it appears that she's having technical difficulties with her microphone.
Well, if you can try unmuting yourself one more time, please.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Anything you wish to add?
No, Mr. Muhammad explained everything briefly.
Okay, very good, very good. We will, does anyone in the audience wish to speak on this item?
No, it's just myself.
Okay, very good. We'll open it up to the commission. Commissioner Richards, did you have your hand up?
Well, I do have a few questions I would like to ask, quick questions. Is this your first wine tasting room you're opening?
Yes, it is.
Well, where will you be getting your wine from? Will you be getting it imported in from somewhere?
Well, I plan on ordering from several contractors. One would be Budweiser, and it's they have different wines, and so that's what it's all about: tasting wine and ordering wine and finding out what people like, and as they like it, I can order more. But the one contract that I'm working on now is through Budweiser.
Okay. So, but if you're not, say if someone was to come in and doesn't want a wine taste, can they just come in and purchase?
Yes, they can purchase. The liquor license that I am asking for the property is that they can purchase, they can taste, But if they leave the premises, the bottle must be closed, sealed.
Okay.
Not open.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion's in order. Commissioner Rappaport.
Thank you very much, Commissioners, or Chairman Sharp. Regarding case number 2121E, special land use approval for proposed wine tasting room at 6033 North Wayne on the west side of Wayne, north of Stacy. Move to send that case to City Council with a recommendation for approval, subject to departmental requirements or requests.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Rappaport. Was that Commissioner Richards supported that?
Yes.
Yes, roll call, please.
Roll call vote to approve case number 2121E. Durante? Folks?
Yes.
Rappaport?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Sharp?
Yes.
Spizak?
Yes.
Stachow?
Yes.
Hornbuckle?
Yes.
I see
Durante,
Durante, Commissioner Durante is unmuted now.
Support.
Very good. Thank you. Motion was made and supported and roll call. So we'll move on to our next item.
Thank
which
you.
is- Pardon? Oh,
I said, thank you.
yes, Ms. Howard, good luck with your new business. Good luck as you go to city council. And thank you for selecting Westland to open your business. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the state.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you again.
Forward to seeing you.
The next item is a rescheduling of the June 1 Planning Commission meeting. Mr. Ayu.
Thank you, Chairman. We briefly touched on this in the pre-meeting. I will not be here on the 1st. So I'm asking the Planning Commission to reschedule the meeting for either June 2nd, which is that very next day, Wednesday, or the following week, which is June 8th. Same time.
Comments, a motion from the commission? Commissioner Durante.
Make a motion that we make it on June 2nd.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Durante, supported by Commissioner Richards. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to reschedule the June 1st Planning Commission meeting to June 2nd, starting at 6 p.m. with pre-meeting at 5:30. Durante,
Support.
Folks,
Yes. Support.
Rappaport,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Spizak,
Yes.
Stachow,
Yes.
and Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep, the next item on here is the adoption of the proposed planning commission bylaws. Mr. Ayu.
We don't have bylaws. I don't know why. But this is an attempt to get some on the books. Operating procedures and best practices will become codified by the Planning Commission, and only you will have the authority to change them. Nicole, who you all know, helped tremendously with this, so she gets some credit too. Is on the call. I got. I think you all are familiar with bylaws. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Any questions from any of the commissioners? Commissioner Stackhouse.
Yes. In the section 1.3, the removal of members. Being that we were appointed by the mayor, and hopefully we don't have a change in mayors, but where does that leave us in regards to positions? is it, I see that there are some removal criterias here, which definitely sound like they're in place, but could it be extended to
Yeah,
something else?
so you, like me, serve at the pleasure of the mayor and definitely can be removed by the new mayor.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
No problem.
Thank you.
Any other Commissioner Spezak?
It's not easy. We did it once back in 76 or 77.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only time. It's kind of tough. It can be done.
Commissioner Rappaport?
Yes, the bylaws look very good, actually. The only thing that I'm not noticing, and we could probably look into this at a later date, is I don't see any regular review or process for updating or recertification over a period of time. And from my experience in a number of organizations, when that is absent, what that leads to is a document like this actually languishing for decades. And
Yeah.
while I find no fault in any way, shape, or form with the bylaws as they stand, I would suggest that moving forward, we do look into adding a provision like that. But other than that, I have nothing.
Mr. Ayub, isn't that covered if there's that we as the commissioners can, petition you to have a meeting and to change something in this?
Well, I think I understand what Rappaport is saying, but some of that may be covered on page 5 under amendments. But I think he wants like an annual renewal or review date on there.
Of the bylaws? Yeah.
Every 3 years would be sufficient.
3 years is good enough. I think 3 years is a good enough time to renew the bylaws. We don't want to do it every year.
I can write it in here if everyone wants it in, that's fine.
I think that sounds good.
Bylaws should exist longer than we do.
Is
Do we take a
everybody in
vote on
agreement
it or
to that? Every year is just busy work. Is everybody in agreement to adding 3 years?
Are we voting?
Oh, good.
All right. Would you, the commission, wish to vote on that? By roll call?
On the amendment?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, we voted on adding the 3 years in here, right?
Yes.
I support that.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Rapport, supported by Commissioner Durante. There'll be a review of this every 3rd year, starting from this point forward.
Okay, so that would be, let's see, 21, 22, and 23. On the 2023?
24.
24.
24.
24.
And May, April?
The anniversary of today's date.
May 5th, yeah, 3 years from today.
May 5th. Okay. Do we vote?
You got to vote on the bylaws, and
We got to vote on the bylaws first.
yep.
Okay.
Move to
Is there a motion to
Bylaws.
accept the bylaws?
accept the
The
bylaw.
motion that we
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Spezak, supported by Commissioner Rappaport, to vote on accepting the bylaws with an addition to come. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to adopt the planning commission bylaws and add a 3-year review requirement from today's date. Durante,
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Sharp,
Rather than today's date, could we make it the first meeting in May? Because we don't know what that date will be.
That's good.
yes.
Is that agreeable? Make it the
Agreeable.
first meeting in May? Not knowing what the 5th will be, it could very not be a meeting date.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So on the first meeting in May,
Done.
done. Okay, where we at with roll call, sir? Is that me? Yeah, yes.
Spezak,
Oh, yes.
Stachow,
Yes.
Hornbuckle.
Yes.
All right, we got some bylaws.
Richards, yes.
Very good.
Did I miss you?
Yes.
I
I'm so
think
sorry.
I had him
Yes, a
confused.
double yes.
If only the feds could do it this easy.
Yeah, and that's true. Mr. Ayub, do you have anything you wish to add?
I don't think so. We'll have another meeting in June for sure. It'll be a short one though.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for being here this meeting and supporting me as well as everything else. So motion is in order to adjourn unless somebody has anything they wish to add.
Support.
I didn't make the motion. I was just,
Darn.
you can
I
make
make a
you can
motion
make
that
the
we
motion.
adjourn.
Move for adjournment.
Make a motion for adjournment.
All right. Well,
Spezak.
Move for
Commissioner
adjournment.
Spezak, Commissioner Richard?
I just want to say for Craig, can you leave me and Mo on after everybody goes off, please?
I'll stay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Spezak, supported by Commissioner Rappaport. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
everyone for the overwhelming support for my recommendation on automatic review of our bylaws. I think it's an excellent idea.
Good suggestion.
Excellent proposal.
Yes.